Hey everyone, good evening. Daniel here, and today I wanted to talk about Apache Log4j, and more specifically, the log event pattern converter. And this came about when I read this Securing Log Data, How to Mask Sensitive Data in Logs by Bounty. Cool article that I pondered about, and he talks about why we need to make sensitive information, why we need to mask sensitive information in logs. It comes down to data privacy, it comes down to regulations from the business perspective. It also comes down to client confidence. People don't want their information being shown anywhere in exposed to outsources and outside applications, outside the engineering environment. And I started reading this article, and he recommended to start with the person class, uh, to create like a regular first name, last name, age, credit card, address fields. Set up a controller where it is a REST controller within a Spring Boot environment. Just create a list of two person objects and just start logging it. Um, Log the person class and then create like a JSON output later of the person class, and that's found in this line right here. And uh, use Postman to test it. So I went ahead and did that. I went ahead and created a person application, a Spring Boot application runs under person application class. My person class is as shown. I've used Lombok for my getters and setters and created an all arguments constructor. My controller class is just as he explained. And in the article, he explained something about how to make a detailed XML file for the Log4J2 configuration. I made it much simpler for my case because I just wanted to test it out. And the masking converter is as shown in his article. Um, we have the masking converter constructor. We have the new instance method that is required as part of the extension of the log event pattern converter class, and we override the format method to our tailoring. So yeah, let me go ahead and run this and want to show you where I ran into problems with this. As Let me enter into Postman localhost 8080 at the endpoint list / person, and yeah, we get the person objects in Postman. But when it comes to our console on IntelliJ, you notice that we're not getting the masked values as we hoped we would. And after just hours and hours of digging why it just wasn't returning, I came to the conclusion that it revolved around the POM file. So this is the POM file that is, I guess, explained and in the article. You have the Log4j core, um, till to the latest version. You have the Log4j API. I added the Lombok dependency for our case. I have the Spring Web dependency and the Spring Boot Starter Web as well. And it turns out that the Spring Boot Starter Web, the default logging framework for the Spring Boot Starter Web is Logback. And so what we need to do is go ahead and I go ahead in the background. I looked at um, doing some research on online. I realized that we need to exclude the Spring Boot starter logging artifact ID. So let me just go ahead and grab this dependency with that exclusion and put this back into the working POM file of the application right here. Bam. Let me save that. I'm gonna ask Maven to rework that. I'm gonna stop the application first. and that should be working now. So let me go ahead and run this. Awesome. Notice I made just two small print statements in the console right there. We get some red info warnings, which I will explain later. But let's go ahead into the app, into Postman, and send the request. It's okay. So we're getting back the JSON output on Postman. And lucky enough, we are now starting to get the logs being masked. 1 second, which is awesome. So then I started realizing, and then I started to research why I need, how can I get these red info lines to just disappear? And this is where it came down to the other POM dependency that we needed. So now we need to add the Spring Boot Starter Log4J2 artifact. And let me go ahead and copy this and add this to my working POM file. I'm going to stop the application and add that right there. Nice. So let me go ahead and do like a Maven changes. I want to load them. And that should work now. And let me clear this and let me start doing the person application. Let me start running it. Awesome. Which is good. See, you see now that we don't have those red info lines. We just have the regular log as a log4j info lines here. And to go back to Postman, we get back the JSON output there, and you see that now we're getting the masked person class in the logs here. Nice. So article is helpful. It also details how to use logback, which there's no issues there in terms of the POM dependency. Uh, the only issue I had was that log4j, you need to do some POM file manipulations for this to work. And in hindsight, I wish I'd known that, but I do appreciate Ubuntu for sharing this article. Definitely gave me some insight into just Spring Boot logging and the Spring framework in general. Yeah, so if you guys do ever come into that problem, do do some research around the POM dependencies and the Maven dependencies for Spring Boot Starter Web, and then the Spring Boot Starter Log4j2. Probably do need to add that as well. That's all I had for this video. Thank you, everybody. This is Data with Dan, and we'll chat soon. Bye bye.